Jack the Ripper, a name that haunts the fog-drenched streets of Whitechapel. History remembers 5 victims, but what if that's only the surface? What if there were others, women who vanished quietly, whose deaths were erased from records, their lives forgotten? Shadows hide stories that no newspaper ever reported, screams that vanished into the night. Tonight we journey beyond the canonical murders into the unknown, where fear was a constant companion and secrets were buried deep in alleys and police files. Prepare to meet the victims the world never knew. Their stories were silenced, but tonight, their secrets might finally be revealed. Before we dive deeper, hit subscribe and ring the bell. You won't want to miss this series. Comment below if you believe Jack the Ripper had victims the world never knew about. Share your theories. Every comment could hold a clue. Join the hunt for truth. Your voice might help uncover the stories history tried to hide. Whitechapel in 1888 was a maze of narrow alleys and gaslit streets where danger lurked in every shadow. Official history remembers 5 victims: Mary Ann Nichols, Annie Chapman, Elizabeth Stride, Catherine Eddowes, and Mary Jane Kelly. But locals whispered of others. Women who disappeared quietly, their deaths never reported, erased from public memory. Could there have been victims the authorities deliberately ignored? Police ledgers hint at unexplained deaths. A woman found lifeless in a doorway, her identity unrecorded. Screams reported near Mitre Square before Eddowes' death, never linked to an official case. Was this the hidden trail of terror? Life on the streets was brutal. Dock workers, street vendors, and the destitute noticed things others ignored. A dock worker recalled a pale figure gliding through the fog, hands stained, disappearing when anyone approached. Children whispered about shadows that moved against walls at night. Fear kept witnesses silent. Could these be glimpses of the Ripper, or his secret victims? Even shopkeepers reported unusual disappearances. A barmaid remembered a woman leaving her pub one night, pale and trembling, who vanished without a trace. Could she have been one of the forgotten victims? While the canonical 5 were publicized, disappearances hint at a larger pattern. In August 1888, Emily Thompson vanished after leaving a pub. Days later, a body was found, but dismissed as unrelated. Some historians suggest these might have been practice runs, early victims meant to test the police or the community. The selection of marginalized women, easily overlooked, points to calculated cruelty. Was this experimentation or refinement? Many theorists claim Jack the Ripper had medical knowledge, yet these hidden victims suggest more than skill. They suggest discretion. Bodies disappeared quietly. Records were incomplete. Could some deaths have been intentionally hidden to protect a secret? Perhaps someone inside the police department decided which murders would be reported and which erased. Fear pervaded Whitechapel, not just from the known murders but the unknown. Women vanished, children whispered about a shadow man, and neighbors stayed silent. A baker recalled a pale figure along Dorset Street, vanishing whenever approached. Fear ensured the secret killings remained hidden. How many victims were silenced not by death, but by terror? Police files reveal gaps, case files for unidentified female, missing witness statements, incomplete coroner reports. Some entries suggest deliberate suppression. Why hide these deaths? Could the Ripper or someone else have exploited this to expand his terror unnoticed? One file mentions a woman found with injuries matching the Ripper's method, yet it was quickly categorized as an unattended death. Omission or intent? Letters attributed to the Ripper, often dismissed as hoaxes, may contain hints. One mentions a lost lamb, never explained. Could it point to a secret victim? Combined with unexplained disappearances, it paints a hidden pattern, a web unnoticed by most historians, but possibly recorded somewhere, waiting to be uncovered. Names like Margaret Harkness, Alice May, Sarah Collins appear briefly in records, then vanish. What happened to them? Were they deliberately erased or simply ignored? Each forgotten life represents a story cut short, possibly shedding new light on the Ripper's true reach. Residents whispered about strangers, late-night visitors, women vanishing. One widow wrote, "I see the shadow every night, yet the police do not listen." Could these shadows be the Ripper or another killer striking in silence? Evidence hints at crimes never solved. Bloodstains in abandoned tenements, knives discarded in canals, conflicting witness statements. Were these ignored clues pointing to secret victims? Perhaps the Ripper refined his method on them, perfecting untraceable killings. Nightfall in Whitechapel conceals secrets in fog. Each alley whispers unanswered questions. Who were the secret victims? How did they die? Why were they erased from history? Each fragment paints a chilling picture, suggesting the terror was far wider and darker than anyone imagined. Imagine walking Whitechapel's streets today, unaware of lives erased from memory. Could letters, journals, or testimony buried in archives reveal the true number of victims? Each discovery may rewrite history. Each whisper, each overlooked disappearance, may be part of a grander, darker design. Were the secret victims random, or part of a calculated plan? Did someone within the police deliberately hide these murders? Could fear, poverty, and societal bias have silenced lives that mattered? Might an overlooked letter, witness, or hidden record finally reveal the truth? And most chillingly, what if the full extent of Jack the Ripper's terror is still buried, waiting to be uncovered? Before we continue, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. You won't want to miss the rest of this series. Comment below with your theories. Who do you think were Jack the Ripper's secret victims? Share your ideas, no matter how wild. Every comment could reveal a clue, and your voice might help uncover the truths history tried to hide. Whitechapel's fog hid more than just the 5 canonical victims. Records hint at women who disappeared quietly, names barely remembered. Margaret Harkness, Alice May, Sarah Collins. These women are shadows in the historical ledger, lives erased before they could make headlines. Some were found months later, bodies misidentified or misclassified. Others vanished entirely, leaving only whispers behind. Could these have been Jack the Ripper's early victims, deliberately kept off the official list? A local dock worker recalled seeing a woman being followed late at night. "I thought nothing of it," he later confessed. But in hindsight, the memory gnawed at him. Could she have been one of the Ripper's hidden victims? Historians have long debated the Ripper's methodology, but these lost victims hint at a more calculated approach, choosing targets who wouldn't be noticed, striking in ways that left minimal traces. Police files contain entries like unattended death or found in alley, identity unknown. Were these dismissed out of convenience or intentionally hidden? An account from a tavern owner tells of a woman disappearing after leaving the pub one stormy night. No report was filed. A year later, a body with similar injuries surfaced far from Whitechapel. Did the killer relocate, or were there multiple individuals operating in silence? Even before the canonical murders began, women vanished from Whitechapel. Emily Thompson, Catherine Ross, and a woman named Bridget O'Leary disappeared between June and July 1888. Police labeled some as runaway prostitutes, others as victims of accident or illness. But consistent patterns, similar wounds, timing, location, suggest a sinister link. Could these women have been the first of the Ripper's secret victims? One witness claimed to hear screams near a warehouse on Dorset Street, hours before an official murder. The police dismissed the testimony. Were they too overwhelmed, or was there an intentional cover-up? Evidence points to a killer who understood discretion. Bodies were sometimes moved, misidentified, or overlooked entirely. This wasn't just carelessness. It suggests someone meticulously planning murders without attracting official attention. One coroner's report mentions a body with precise incisions, yet it was filed under natural causes. Could this indicate secret victims hidden in plain sight? The killer seemed to select marginalized women, unlikely to be missed by society. Their disappearances left little trace. Could fear of social scandal have also contributed to their erasure from records? Several letters supposedly from the Ripper mention lost lambs or silent shadows, phrases historians dismissed. But when paired with unexplained disappearances, they hint at something more. A secret series of victims deliberately hidden. One letter even mentions a woman no one would search for, suggesting forethought and planning. Was this the Ripper communicating about his hidden victims? Whitechapel residents often observed strange figures but remained silent out of fear. One elderly shopkeeper recalled seeing a tall man with a hood trailing women late at night. "I didn't tell anyone," he said. "Who would believe me?" Children whispered of a pale man gliding through foggy streets. These observations may have been the first clues to secret killings, ignored by those too frightened or too powerless to act. Archival research shows dozens of unidentified women found dead during 1888. Some had signs of violence consistent with the Ripper's known style. Others were simply missing. Could police negligence, bureaucratic oversight, or deliberate suppression have erased their names? And if so, why? One particularly chilling entry describes a body found in a backyard, partially hidden. Investigators noted nothing unusual, recording it as an accidental death, but contemporary analysis suggests the wounds were deliberate. How many more cases like this exist, quietly archived? Whitechapel's narrow streets and dense fog created the perfect cover. The killer could strike in plain sight without witnesses noticing. Some bodies may have been found, but investigators, distracted or misled, failed to connect the dots. Could someone have exploited these conditions to commit multiple murders without detection? The pattern emerges: early secret victims deliberately overlooked. Later, the canonical five became publicized, perhaps to mask the true extent of the killings. Could the official murders have been a smokescreen? Was there complicity within law enforcement? Some historians speculate that political or social pressures could have led authorities to hide certain cases. Victims of lower social standing, immigrants, or prostitutes might have been deliberately ignored to maintain public calm. Could Whitechapel's terror have been manipulated by more than just a single killer? Imagine being a woman in Whitechapel at the time, the streets thick with fog, shadowy figures moving silently, screams fading into night. Every corner was a potential threat, and the knowledge that victims could vanish without notice added to the fear. These secret killings, lost, ignored, or erased, create a sense that the terror was far wider than previously thought. Witness testimonies hint at victims who left behind almost no evidence. One anonymous account mentions a woman disappearing from a corner street never to be seen again. Were such disappearances part of the Ripper's secret tally? Each missing or hidden victim suggests the Ripper, or perhaps multiple killers, had a network of fear surrounding them. Were the canonical five simply the tip of the iceberg? Could the fog, the fear, and the silence of society have enabled a far greater wave of terror? Historians continue to debate these hidden victims. Some argue they were random disappearances unrelated to the Ripper. Others see patterns of violence, location, and timing that suggest deliberate intent. Every new record, every uncovered letter, hints at a story bigger than the one widely known. What we know may only be a fragment, a portion of a darker, untold history. Were the secret victims the Ripper's practice runs before the canonical murders? Did authorities deliberately suppress cases to protect the city's reputation? Could fear, poverty, and social bias have made these victims invisible to society? Are there letters, journals, or hidden archives that could reveal the true number of victims? And most chilling, what if the full scope of the Ripper-esque killings is still waiting to be discovered?